What's up, Deep Thinkers? It's Robert from Existence First, and here I'm going to do a little bit of a self-help video. I just did one on for caseworkers on the field of intensive mental health work, but I'm going to switch up gears right now and do a video on self-help because, after all, I am here in Vegas and attending the Grant Cardone 10X Growth Conference, which presumably I thought was about business growth, and it is, but I'm realizing that there's so much self-help just like marinated in with that, and the speakers are extremely high level. I mean, we had yesterday Magic Johnson speaking to us. We had the manager or agent for Justin Bieber. We had today we had Usher, the musical artist, and John Travolta, the famous actor. So extremely high level people, very, very successful. And so I'm just being bombarded this weekend with sort of self-help, which is good. This is what I like to do. Now, a few thoughts came up, several thoughts came up through this process, so I'll share a few of them right now. Now, one of the things that happens in self-help, especially when you go on this sort of a blitz of doing like 2 or 3, maybe even 6 or 7 brand new interventions at the same time. So for instance, times when I'm like really crushing it, like I might have a month where I'm like really, really into the self-help stuff, waking up early, I'm doing cold showers, I'm doing morning gratitude lists, I'm doing reflections at the end of the day, I'm working with 2 or 3 coaches. I'm starting to enter one of those phases right now, right? I am already working with two coaches, signed up for a third. So what the problem with that, even though it might save time and like get you results faster, the problem is that you don't know which one of those interventions you're doing is causing the results. It's the phenomenon of confounding variables. Okay, a variable is confounding if another one is doing it at the same time, right? So for instance, if my life suddenly starts improving, I don't know, is it the early morning wake-ups? Is it the cold showers? Is it the gratitude list in the morning that just puts me in a different vibe? I'm speaking from experience here, where I've had periods where I'm just doing very, very well. But when that comes to an end, I don't know which one of those factors can account for that success or that growth or that progress, right? So that's the tricky part. Now, this is Existence First, so let's go a couple layers deep, okay? All right, this is why I like philosophy and self-help, and this is, yeah. All right, so here's a little bit of philosophy here. So this problem of the confounding variable is not new. This has been around for a while. And in fact, if you've ever heard of this thing of correlation not equaling causation, this is what I'm about to get at. Also, there's a Latin phrase called post hoc ergo propter hoc, and that means after the fact, therefore because of the fact. And this is a fallacy. An example of this would be my alarm goes off at 6 a.m. I get out of this bed here in Las Vegas. I put on my shoes, and as I'm putting on my shoes, the sun is rising outside my window. And I think that, when I put on my shoes, right after that, the sun came out. So actually putting on my shoes actually makes the sun come up, right? After the fact, therefore because of the fact. And as we all know, that's not correct. The shoes did not cause the sun to come up, right? So how on earth do we... Okay, so first of all, we have to see that why does the human mind get into this? The human mind gets into this because the ability of the human mind to tie cause and effect was a huge evolutionary advantage, which put the species above many other species in terms of survival abilities on this planet. Okay? So we already have minds that are kind of like wired to see those two things, right? That's why people get into these problems of believing they can carry these beliefs with them their whole lives of like false connections or whatever. Okay, but that's sort of a side tangent. But let's come back to the point of this. The point of this is how do we gain the clarity? How do we see past these false like causal relationships, or these illusory like it's like an illusion, these and how do we see what actually is cause and effect? Okay, well, the easy answer to that is experimentation, right? So I keep putting my shoes on or whatever and seeing if the sun comes up, and I do that with different pairs of shoes, and I do that on different days, and I do that at different times of the morning. So instead of just doing it at 6 a.m., I do it at 3 a.m. and I try to see if the sun rises. Like, you change all of these variables, right? And you hold one, you change one at a time. You change a lot of variables, but you do it one at a time. Okay, that's the quick answer. Okay, but in life, obviously, that's not a real answer. That's an answer you would get in a science classroom. But this is real life here. Okay. Okay, starting to get passionate about this because of the division between the ivory tower, the classroom, and real actual life. Okay, I'm meeting some very cool people here, at this convention. I just did a collaborative video with one of them, and you don't learn how to meet people in school, right? They don't teach that. Okay, here I am meeting people. Why? Because I learned that from coaches, right? Like, not I guess networking. I hate that word, but you get the idea. Okay, you learn it just because I'm a doer, right? Do things in life. Okay. Let's come back to this central point of the conundrum of, like, if you're doing all these self-help things and then, okay, well, here's one thing. If you're doing all this self-help stuff and you're not making the progress that you want, then okay, that's easy. Then there's clearly something you're not doing, or something that you're doing that you're not doing correctly. Okay, now. So how do you get some clarity and truth in this? Well, one thing is you can hire a coach, right? They can tell you, right? Like, I used to be like very shy and stuff, and like not believe in myself as much, and I changed that. So I'm in the perfect position to help people with that. I can spot a self-limiting belief a mile away. And in fact, some of my students that come out to my live events in San Jose, I coach them with confidence and on overcoming old frameworks or self-limiting frameworks of thought. Okay, but in any case, how else do we gain clarity over this stuff, right? Well, I mean, you could also ask the question of, like, these pro basketball players. Over the years, they've shot after shot after shot, someone in, someone didn't, right? So it's like, if they're shooting and it's like not going in, like, how do they figure that out? Like, is it just overthinking? Are they putting the wrong spin on the ball? Do they need the basketball to be like not covering this finger but covering only these fingers, like when they shoot it? Like, there's so many variables, right? But over time, you find what works, like, you just experiment. So another answer is you just experiment. You experiment over and over. The last answer, the one that I was thinking of that I wanted to provide, is you're just more aware, right? You're just more aware, and sometimes, yes, it does help to have someone who's more experienced, but this is part of, like, awareness. So expanding awareness, meaning, like, what's actually going on here, right? And yes, that does mean you have to, like, experiment a little bit, but you have to just get into this mode of, like, you don't know what's going on, right? All right, I think I think I want to move on to a different topic, but it's going to require a different video. So sit tight, I'm going to go make another video.